World War II exposed the darkest side of humanity. The war started due to the clash between the Allied powers and the Axis powers. The fight lasted from September 1st, 1939 to September 2nd, 1945. As Nazi powers raised in Germany, discrimination towards the Jewish also increased. By the time Hitler and his army invaded Poland and marked the start of the war in Europe, 6 concentration camps were already up and running. These camps claimed around 3 million Jewish lives. Prisoners who did not perish due to gas chambers, mass shootings, or from being test subjects also died from hunger, exhaustion, and disease.
Anne Frank was one of 3 million Jewish people who perished during World War II. She was born in Frankfurt, Germany. When she was just 4 years old, she and her family moved to Amsterdam, Holland. When the Nazis invaded Holland, Anne and her family went into hiding. While they were hiding, Anne wrote in her diary. They hid for 2 years, but were later found and sent to concentration camps. Otto, Anne's father, was sent to a different camp than the rest of the family. Anne was sent to Bergen-Belsen, where she got typhus and later died. Otto was the only family member to survive, and when he returned to Amsterdam, he found Anne's diary and shared her story with the world.
Anne Frank was one of the most famous people from the Holocaust. Can you imagine knowing her? Lia Bates was a special person. She knew the famous Anne Frank. Lia was 1 year older than Anne but attended the same school as Anne for 3 years. Lia mentioned that she remembers Anne as being very talkative. The teachers even told her to be quiet sometimes. Lia recalled a time when she heard Anne speaking a language that wasn't Dutch. This took Lia off guard, and she even told her mom that Anne spoke a secret language. Lia came to find out that Anne was in fact speaking German. Lia was lucky enough to have a poem that Anne wrote to her.
Stay forever as a heather flower, or flower from the heather, which grows between moss and herbs, and then you will be always the sunshine of your environment.
Lia also remembers that Anne was very beautiful and always had the most perfectly ironed shirts.
Every day it was common to fear life during World War II. Nothing was safe. When you went to school, you feared air raids. At home, you worried if you were going to have enough food that night. Lia Bates was forced to eat sugar beets every meal during the coldest winter on record. She heard gunshots around her, mainly the Germans trying to shoot down American planes. Lia witnessed a USA airplane that was shot down. The pilot escaped and hid somewhere on her street. The army searched the houses on her street, but the pilot was never found. Lia's backyard was bombed, causing major panic in her family. 11 of her neighbors died, and houses around her were destroyed. In fear, they almost fled their house with their already packed suitcases. Lia Bates came to America to start a new life. Her husband was an American soldier, and they decided to come to the United States in 1952. She at first lived in New York City and later moved to Skinny Atlas. Her old classmate Elizabeth Gosler was also sent to the same concentration camp as Anne. She and Anne Frank communicated by exchanging notes and read over a wall. Elizabeth Gosler survived the camp. Lia Bates heard that Elizabeth was telling her story in the area at a conference, and they became reunited after decades. Lia has donated the poem she received from Anne Frank to our public library. Today, she continues telling her miraculous story of how she witnessed World War II through her own eyes.